Albert Einstein was born in Ulm, Germany on March 4th. That day probably doesn't mean anything to you, but it is the day when a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who changed the field of science forever came onto this great earth. I'm a German-born theoretical physicist, and I developed the theory of relativity, which stands as one of the two pillars of modern physics today. My work is also known for its influence on the philosophy of science, as I'm also here as a humanist who tried to improve society. I have a passion for inquiry that will eventually lead to the development of the famous theory of relativity. In 1921, I won the Nobel Prize for physics for my explanation of the photoelectric effect and immigrated to the United States in the following decade after being targeted by the Nazis in World War II. The theory of relativity determines that the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers, and thus the speed of light within a vacuum is the same no matter the speed at which an observer travels, which I condensed into this formula. This equation stands for energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. This theory applies to any law of physics. 6 weeks later after being born, my family moved to Italy, and I continued my education in Switzerland. In 1896, I entered the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich to be trained as a teacher in physics and mathematics. In 1901, I gained my diploma and acquired Swiss citizenship, but I was unable to find a teaching post, so I accepted a position as a technical assistant in the Swiss Patent Office. I obtained my doctor's degree in 1905 and became a German citizen in 1914. Bye-bye, Switzerland. I remained in Berlin until 1933. That is when I renounced my citizenship for political reasons, such as Nazis. I emigrated to America and took the position of Professor of Theoretical Physics at Princeton University. I became a United States citizen in 1940 and retired from my post in 1945. I also met my wife, Elsa Einstein, and had 3 children, Edward, Lysarl, sometimes I can't pronounce my child's name, and my son, Hans. After World War II, I was a leading figure in the world government movement, and I was offered the presidency of the State of Israel, which I declined. I collaborated with Dr. Chaim Weizmann in establishing the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I regarded major achievements that were just mere stepping stones for the advance in physics. My greatest role in the invention of the atomic bomb, as I'm sometimes asked, was probably signing a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt urging that this bomb be built. The splitting of the uranium atom in Germany in December 1938 continued German aggression that led some physicists to fear that Germany might be working on an atomic bomb. Boom. This great life which we speak of today, my life, a dope life, ended in April 18th, 1955. As I leave you today, I want to leave you with a few inspirational quotes from Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. And now I leave you a quote from Albert Dopestein. Science is chill.
Was that a real quote?
No, I just made that up. Because Albert Dopestein isn't real. He's a figure of our imagination. Alright, now we're done.
Yeah, I just got some shots outside that I can put the audio to.
Yep. So I'll just be walking around, and then I'll find a rock, and I'll observe it, then I'll throw it.
Leave it here so it looks...
With the mom, the kids better run.